Nebuchadnezzar also gave an order about Jeremiah to Commander Nebuzaradan. Find Jeremiah and take care of him. Don't hurt him. Give him whatever he asks for. So Nebuzaradan, the commander of the king's special guards, Nebuchadnezzar, the chief officer in the army of Babylon, Nergal-Sharezer, a high official, and all the officers of the army of Babylon sent for Jeremiah. They had Jeremiah taken out of the temple yard where he had been under the guard of the king of Judah. They turned Jeremiah over to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan. Gedaliah had orders to take Jeremiah back home, so Jeremiah was taken home, and he stayed among his own people. While the guards were watching Jeremiah in the temple yard, a message from the Lord came to him. This was the message. Jeremiah, go and tell Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian this message. This is what the Lord All-Powerful, the God of the people of Israel, says. Very soon I will make my message about the city of Jerusalem come true. My messages will come true through disaster, not through something good. You will see everything come true with your own eyes. But I will save you on that day, Ebed-Melech. This is the message from the Lord. You will not be given to the people you are afraid of. I will save you, Ebed-Melech. You will not die from a sword, but you will escape and live. That will happen because you have trusted in me. This is the message from the Lord. The message from the Lord came to Jeremiah after he was set free at the city of Ramah. Nebuzaradan, the commander of the king of Babylon's special guards, found Jeremiah in Ramah. Jeremiah was bound with chains. He was with all the captives from Jerusalem and Judah. They were being taken away in captivity to Babylon. When Commander Nebuzaradan found Jeremiah, he spoke to him. He said, Jeremiah, the Lord your God announced that this disaster would come to this place. And now the Lord has done everything just as he said he would do. This disaster happened because you people of Judah sinned against the Lord. You did not obey him. But now, Jeremiah, I will set you free. I am taking the chains off your wrist. If you want to, come with me to Babylon, and I will take good care of you. But if you don't want to come with me, then don't come. Look, the whole country is open to you. Go anywhere you want. Or go back to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan. The king of Babylon has chosen Gedaliah to be governor over the towns of Judah. Go and live with Gedaliah among the people. Or you can go anywhere you want. Then Nebuzaradan gave Jeremiah some food and a present and let him go. So Jeremiah went to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, at Mizpah. He stayed with Gedaliah among those who were left behind in the land of Judah. Nebuchadnezzar came to Jerusalem on the 7th day of the 5th month of his 19th year as king of Babylon. The captain of Nebuchadnezzar's best soldiers was Nebuzaradan. Nebuzaradan burned the Lord's temple, the king's palace, and all the houses in Jerusalem. He destroyed even the largest houses. Then the Babylonian army that was with Nebuzaradan pulled down the walls around Jerusalem. Nebuzaradan captured all the people who were still left in the city. He took all the people as prisoners, even those who tried to surrender. He let only the poorest of the common people stay there. He let them stay so that they could take care of the grapes and other crops. The Babylonian soldiers broke into pieces all the bronze things in the Lord's temple. They broke the bronze columns, the bronze carts, and the large bronze tank that were in the Lord's temple. Then they took all of that bronze to Babylon. The Babylonians also took the pots, the shovels, the tools for trimming the lamps, the spoons, and all the bronze dishes that were used in the temple. Nebuzaradan took all the fire pans and bowls. He took all the things made of gold for the gold, and he took everything made of silver for the silver. So Nebuzaradan took the large bronze tank and the 2 bronze columns. Each column was about 31 feet tall. The capitals on the columns were over 5 feet tall. They were made from bronze and had a design like a net and pomegranates. Both columns had the same kind of design. He also took the carts that Solomon made for the Lord's temple. The bronze from these things was too heavy to be weighed. From the temple, Nebuzaradan took Sariah the high priest, Zephaniah the second priest, and the 3 men who guarded the entrance. From the city, Nebuzaradan took 1 official who was in charge of the army, and 5 of the king's advisors who were still in the city. He took 1 secretary of the commander of the army, who was in charge of counting the common people and choosing some of them to be soldiers, and 60 people who just happened to be in the city. Then Nebuzaradan took all these people to the king of Babylon at Riblah in the area of Hamath. The king of Babylon killed them there at Riblah, and the people of Judah were led away as prisoners from their land. Nebuzaradan was the commander of the king of Babylon's special guard. He was one of the king's most important officials while at Jerusalem. He came to Jerusalem on the 10th day of the 5th month, in the 19th year that Nebuchadnezzar was king. Nebuzaradan burned the Lord's temple, the king's palace, and every important building in Jerusalem, as well as all the houses. All the Babylonian soldiers that were with the commander broke down the walls around Jerusalem. Commander Nebuzaradan took the people who were still in Jerusalem and those who had surrendered earlier and made them captives. He took them and the skilled craftsmen who were left in Jerusalem as captives to Babylon. But Nebuzaradan left some of the poorest people behind in the land. He left them to work in the vineyards and the fields. The Babylonian army broke up the bronze columns of the Lord's temple. They also broke up the stands and the bronze tank that were in the Lord's temple. They carried all that bronze to Babylon. The army of Babylon also took these things from the temple: pots, shovels, lamp snuffers, large bowls, pans, and all the bronze things that were used in the temple service. The commander of the king's special guards took these things away: basins, fire pans, large bowls, pots, lampstands, pans, and bowls used for drink offerings. He took everything that was made of gold or silver. The 2 pillars, the sea and the 12 bronze bulls under it, and the movable stands were very heavy. King Solomon had made those things for the Lord's temple. The bronze that those things were made of was so heavy it could not be weighed. Each of the bronze pillars was 31 feet tall. Each pillar was almost 21 feet around. Each pillar was hollow. The wall of each pillar was 3 inches thick. The bronze capital on top of the first pillar was over 5 feet tall. It was decorated with a net design and bronze pomegranates all around it. The other pillar had pomegranates too. It was like the first pillar. There were 96 pomegranates on the sides of the pillars. Altogether, there were 100 pomegranates above the net design that went around the pillars. The commander of the king's special guards took Sariah, the high priest, and Zephaniah, the next highest priest, as prisoners. The 3 doorkeepers were also taken as prisoners. The commander of the king's special guards also took the officer in charge of the fighting men. He also took 7 of the king's advisors as prisoners. They were still there in Jerusalem. He also took the scribe who was in charge of putting people in the army. And he took 60 of the ordinary people who were there in the city. Nebuzaradan, the commander, took all these officials and brought them to the king of Babylon. The king of Babylon was at the city of Riblah. Riblah is in the country of Hamath. There at the city of Riblah, the king ordered all of them to be killed. So the people of Judah were taken from their country. Jerusalem once was a city full of people, but now the city is so empty. She was one of the greatest cities in the world, but now she is like a poor widow. She was once a princess among cities, but now she has been made a slave. She cries bitterly in the night. Her tears are on her cheeks. She has no one to comfort her. Many nations were friendly to her, but not one of them comforts her now. All her friends have turned their backs on her and have become her enemies. Judah suffered very much, and then she was taken into captivity. She lives among the nations, but has found no rest. The people who chased her caught her where there was no way out. The roads to Zion are very sad, because no one comes to Zion for the festivals anymore. All of Zion's gates have been destroyed. All her priests groan in sorrow. Zion's young women have been taken away, and all this made Zion sad. Jerusalem's enemies have won. Her enemies have been successful. This happened because the Lord punished her. He punished Jerusalem for her many sins. Her children have gone away. Their enemies captured them and took them away. The beauty of daughter Zion has gone away. Her princes were like deer that cannot find a meadow to feed in. They walk away without strength from those who chase them. Jerusalem thinks back. She remembers the time when she was hurt and when she lost her home. She remembers all the nice things that she had in the past. She remembers those nice things that she had in the old days. She remembers when her people were captured by the enemy. She remembers when there was no one to help her. When her enemies saw her, they laughed because she was destroyed. Jerusalem sinned very badly. Because Jerusalem sinned, she became a ruined city that people shake their heads about. In the past, people respected her, but now they hate her because they abused her. Jerusalem groaned and turned away. Jerusalem's skirts were dirty. She gave no thought to what would become of her. Her fall was amazing. She had no one to comfort her. She says, "Lord, see how I am hurt. See how my enemy thinks he is so great." The enemy stretched out his hand. He took all her nice things. In fact, she saw the foreign nations go inside her temple. And you said those people could not join in our assembly. All the people of Jerusalem are groaning. All of her people are looking for food. They are giving away all their nice things for food to stay alive. Jerusalem says, "Look, Lord, look at me. See how people hate me. All you who pass by on the road, you don't seem to care. But look at me and see. Is there any pain like my pain? Is there any pain like the pain that has come to me? Is there any pain like the pain that the Lord has punished me with? He has punished me on the day of his great anger. The Lord sent fire from above that went down into my bones. He stretched out a net for my feet. He turned me all the way around. He made me into a wasteland. I am sick all day. My sins were tied up like a yoke. My sins were tied up in the Lord's hands. His yoke is on my neck. He has made me weak. He has given me to those I cannot stand up against. The Lord rejected all my powerful men who were inside the city. Then he brought a group of people against me. He brought them to kill my young soldiers. The Lord has trampled his dearest city like grapes in a winepress. I cry about all these things. Tears are flowing down my cheeks. There is no one near to comfort me. There is no one who can make me feel better. My children are like a wasteland because the enemy won. Zion spread out her hands. There was no one to comfort her. The Lord had given orders to Jacob's enemies. He ordered them to surround the city. Jerusalem has become a dirty rag that her enemies threw away. Now Jerusalem says, "I refuse to listen to the Lord, so he is right for doing these things. So listen, all you people, look at my pain. My young women and men have gone into captivity. I called out to my lovers, but they tricked me. My priests and my elders have died in the city. They were looking for food for themselves. They wanted to keep themselves alive. Look at me, Lord. I am in distress. I am upset, as if my heart turned upside down inside of me. I feel this way because I have been so stubborn. Out in the streets, I lost my children to the swords. Inside, it is like death. Listen to me. I am groaning. I have no one to comfort me. All my enemies have heard my trouble. They are happy that you did this to me. You said there would be a time of punishment. You said you would punish my enemies. Now do what you said. Let my enemies be like I am now. Look how evil my enemies are. Then you can treat them the same way you treated me because of all my sins. Do this because I am groaning again and again. Do this because my heart is sick.